before, but we are so excited. We call it TTR Presents. Every month we have somebody that we highlight. We are very fortunate. We've been trying to get Laura for a little bit of time, and those of you who know Laura know she's driving all over the place most of the time. It doesn't surprise me that she's driving right now, but anyway, she is TTR networking member and mobile closer extraordinaire rock star, Laura Jones. And I actually, when I reached out to Laura a couple different times, but the last time we talked, I said, we got to come up with something fun to call this, because there needs to be some kind of a cool name. And Laura said, basically, what is it? Your tagline?
One or two ways. Either nobody gets paid until I show up, or when I show up, everybody gets paid.
There you go.
So I can't decide which one I like better.
Well, so I put it out there as no one gets paid until Laura shows up. And I think we had some people that were kind of curious, probably more than they were actually, I don't.
They were really interested about me. They wanted to know what's going on.
I have a feeling, but this is a great opportunity for you to get to meet some new people there, Laura. But Laura, so when she said that, I said, well, how could we use that? And then we talked about it. And really, it's much more than a tagline for Laura. So she'll share that, I hope, more as we're talking. Unfortunately, I'm hearing an echo. Okay. And my voice sucks.
I'm sure it's me. I'm sure it's me because I have you on my speaker, so I can actually hear you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the reason I kind of use that tagline is because whenever I do closings, nobody gets paid until I show up. When I show up, that's when I close the loan. Everybody gets paid. So what I do is I serve the state of Indiana and serve the state of Indiana as far as real estate, commercial, and residential real estate loans. I close the loans, and then when I show up, everybody gets paid. So that is exactly what happens.
Well, it's literally physically that's what happens. Oh my gosh. If one of me is not enough, two of me is truly, if one's too much. So, okay, so we'll go back and forth here just real quick. So she already, so really, hopefully she's going to tell us a little more about that, because we're really talking about out of the box marketing and no rest for the weary. If you've ever spent any time with Laura, she's usually on the road. She's usually doing something. She's not sitting around, or she might be in Florida enjoying herself. She plays hard, but she works really, really a lot harder. But I would just say, so who you are, tell us a little more about who you are. Where did you come? Not where did you come from, but what did you come from? You can tell us where you came from. That's fine. But and you already said kind of who you serve. But tell us who you are, what you do. You've already said that. Who you serve, and how did you get to do what you're doing now? Can you give us that insight? And I'll quit talking. Your turn.
Sure, yeah. Well, I started out, I was in aviation for 22 years. I started out in aviation when I was 17 and as an intern. Y'all may remember ATA. That's where I started out. I worked there for 10 years. And I worked with Republic Airways for 10 years. And then I went over to, I don't know if you guys know, the Eagle Creek Aviation. I worked there for a couple of years. And I decided that at the end of my term there, I was ready to do something else. I love aviation, and it'll always be in me. As a matter of fact, I did a video of a plane that had 2 contrails coming from the engines today. It was really cool was going across the blue sky. It was really neat. So that'll always be in me. But I decided I wanted to do something else and kind of start my own business potentially. And when I did some research about the last 6 months, I was in aviation. I was thinking maybe I wanted to do something in real estate because we owned a rental property, and so I thought maybe that's what that's maybe the way that I want to search. And when I was doing my searching and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, this job description kept coming up, and I was like, what even is that? So it kept coming up as loan signing agent or contract closer or remote closer or mobile closer. All of these names kept coming up, and I was like, it kind of sounds like something I could do, but is that really a thing? And after I did my research, I was like, yes, it really is a thing, and this is something I really probably could do. So since all I knew was aviation. That's all I knew. So I started looking more into this work, and I was like, I think this is what I want to do. So I gave myself a deadline. I quit my full-time career, 22 years cold turkey, and I made it work. I decided that this was what I was going to do. I was going to own my own business, be my own boss, make my own schedule, work hard. I found that you work a lot harder when you own your own business than you do when you're working for somebody else, because you really have a lot invested. And so that's where I came from. And what was the last part of the question?
Well, you already explained what you're doing, how you got to do that. I don't know that I mean, I knew you came from aviation, but I wasn't sure how you just found this randomly out there and it just kept popping up. So it kind of seemed your destiny, didn't it? Uh-oh.
And it didn't really take me all that long to initially find it, but I was skeptical, just like a lot of people are, when they're afraid, when they've been somewhere for 22 years and you're like, can I even do something on my own?
Right.
Can I make the income that I make now or exceed it on my own? So those questions, of course, doubt and fear. And so I didn't initially jump right in, but I kept doing my research. And the more I did my research, the more I figured out that, yes, this is really an actual career, and people really can make professional money, and people are succeeding their own expectations and doing well at this. And I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, right? I succeeded at other things. Why not succeed at my own business? It's going to benefit me and my family more, running my own business. And I finally made the decision that, yes, I can do it. Because initially, when I first started my research, I was also looking into other positions within aviation. So I was putting out feelers, and I was getting invitations for interviews. I was getting offers and things like that, and ultimately I made the decision to go out on my own and do my own business. So even after a career, a great, awesome career of 22 years, you can still turn it around and do something else. You're not limited to that which you knew previously, but you can do anything that you set your mind to. I've proven it over the last 3.5 years. So if anybody wants inspiration on that, I'll tell you what, it is absolutely possible.
And I guess that's a good Nancy was asking me at the beginning, and I'm thinking she can hear me, how long we've known each other, how long you've been in TTR, but it's been about that 3.5 year. I thought it had been about that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you really jumped right in there. That's really, but you worked really hard. I mean, you 3.5 years, you said you gave yourself a deadline, but you did quit your full-time job after you did. So how did you go about getting referrals, and what did you do? How did you do it? What would you say?
Well, first of all, when I first started this, I made sure that I was educated and that I knew what I was doing, so I would have the confidence to do the job. And when I did that, I was finding these services that would promote you, and it kind of put the hands together. So I found these like platforms and services that would advertise for me so that I could get experience. So I had the education, I knew what I was doing at this point, and signing up for that promoted me to lenders and title companies, and actually the hands there for me, but I didn't have. Once, only downside to that is that they do take a cut of your pay, so you don't make quite as much, but it gets you the experience so that you can feel confident to go and talk to those professionals and actually sound knowledgeable, not like a newbie. So I worked really hard in a very short period of time at the very beginning of my career doing this, because I was like, I want to get out there. I want to start talking to industry professionals as quickly as I can, so that I can A, make more money, and B, I want to serve the state of Indiana, because when you're working for those services, basically you're working for those people that are outside of Indiana. So I'm working for Texas and California, Delaware, Florida, wherever. It's all it's in every state, in all 50 states. So I had all of these services calling me, but they were all outside of Indiana. So I wasn't working for lenders in Indiana. I wasn't working for title companies in Indiana. I was working for everywhere else. And although the majority of the signers or the borrowers were Indiana residents, however, the actual business people were outside of Indiana. I made some great contacts outside of Indiana through those services, so that's awesome, and I still have a lot of those today. But my ultimate goal was to work with businesses and hopefully be able to interact and promote their businesses as well, so that it was more of a community working together is kind of what I have in my mind is if I know somebody that can help your business and is directly related to helping your Indiana business, and then other people in the industry are getting to reap the benefits of getting a paycheck because I've referred somebody to the people in Indiana, then that makes it all the better, I think, because I want to help Hoosiers. I want to be a part of business community in the Hoosier states. So I think I answered the question.
You did. Well, actually, so I think, I don't know, you said you started, because I know when we met, you wanted to make more contacts in the state, which then you joined 2 of our groups, which you're still a member of today, of both those groups. And
actually I joined another group because I remember. Okay, so rewind back to March of 2018, okay? I made a commitment to myself that since I was no longer in aviation, I was that I can have those great trips and experiences with my family. And so in March of that year, okay, so in 2018 January was when I made the decision to do this, and then it took me about 6 months to get all my certifications together and stuff like that. So so that's when in March I said, okay, so I'm going to go to China in November of that year. So I didn't get my first appointment until June of 2018. So it was probably 6 months. So I had to get all my certifications, and I was just trying to figure this out, and I was just fumbling through the whole thing. And so I went to China. I ended up making enough money starting June through November of 2018 to get my China trip paid for and start getting back on track of paying my bills with my income instead of with my savings. So this was huge. So, you know, once I finally got all of my certifications in June, actually I took my very first signing appointment on June 28th of that year, okay? And then I went on vacation for a week, and then I came back and I just hit the ground running. I was signing up for all these signing services and just to start my business off right. And then between June and November of that year, I ended up having enough money saved up for that China trip, big trip, and enough to start paying my bills out of my paycheck. So, and then I went to China in November, and while I was at the Great Wall of China, I was at the top, and I made my decision at that point. I was going to start networking with people in Indiana. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had no idea how to get in touch with networking people. So November 15th, I got back from China and I started Googling networking groups in my area. And all these networking groups, like a week later, started popping up in my Facebook feed. So if you ever need somebody to find something for you, it's going to be Facebook, because they are watching everything you do. So it's the most positive thing I can say about Facebook. They got me connected with my networking group. And the networking group that they got me connected with was not TTR.
I figured you were going to say that.
Yeah. So, and the great thing is, I got connected with TTR because somebody in my group knew the famous Stacy Maglio. And so he got me connected with her, and she just happened to be the leader of the Northside group. So that's how that whole thing came about. So I mean, it's just like this whole intertwined thing. It just good things keep happening. If you just keep building, keep working, things happen. I don't know, it just happens. So so that's how I got connected with TTR.
All right, Stacy, you can take credit. That's fine.
I was waiting for my name to come up.
It came up. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
I still remember our meeting at Starbucks long time ago.
I was so nervous, Stacy. Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
I felt like I was doing my first interview out of college or something. And now I send her goofy videos or pictures, or I send her something funny, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's awesome.
So
meant to be.
You need an awesome realtor, Stacy. There you go.
Okay. So I guess my question then would be then, you know, you're, and I know we know you, those of us who do know you, know that it's not just as simple as saying you do, you know, you just got all this, you have some business things, Laura, that you must do, that you set some goals. You said you went to the top of the wall in Great Wall of China. I mean, give us some of those tips. Give us some of those things. I know that Stacy has in her group, and I'm sure she'll share now, but that you're not just like going out there and saying, I'm going to get, you do stuff every day. You have things you do every day and goals. When you set a goal, how do you do that? I mean, what do you do? Tell us about that.
Well, okay, so yeah, I do a lot. I'm always trying to talk to somebody. If I don't have somebody on the list to talk to, I mean, that is, I don't know. That means the world has stopped, because I am always talking to somebody. And that's what it takes. You just, everywhere you go, just talk to somebody and give your card out, get their card. And I'm always talking to people. But whenever I really have a goal, I write it on, I have this stack of cards, okay? Don't think I'm weird, but I have this stack of cards, and I read them at night and in the morning. I don't redo it every night, but when I'm working on a goal really hard, I'll read it every single night religiously. So, but okay, so on the back of these cards, I put it on my business card because I want it to relate to me. I want it to feel like it's something that's a part of me, and my business card is very important. So, so I put it on the back of my business card, and it'll say something like, where can I go? What can I do? Who can I speak to that will help me create more relationships for my networking partners? So, like, that's one of my goals. It's on one of my cards because I want to help the people that are in my groups. So, I'm working. That's just one of. I have like a stack. It's like that big, and so I form it in the form of a question, because when you go to sleep at night, your brain is processing thoughts throughout the day. And so what it's doing, what your mind is doing, what your subconscious is doing, is it's trying to answer all of the unanswered questions throughout the day. And so the last thing I do is I go through, right before I go to sleep, I read all of my cards, and I'll read them like 2 or 3 times, and eventually I'll be like, oh God, I gotta go to sleep. And so I'll put them down, and then my mind goes to work and works by making my body do the things that I need to do to create those things, to bring those things into fruition. Those are a couple of things that I do. I'm always talking to people, and I don't know if that is part of what my cards are telling my mind to do, and it's just coming out in my actions, or if that's just part of it. That's just what I do. Okay, so one of my goals was to build.
Oops, we lost her.
August of this, back up to 2016 or 2018, 2017, that time frame. Okay, so we had a couple people come out, give us quotes for a pool, and we were planning on doing that. Well, at the same time, I was also looking at changing my career. So when I put my hard stop on my career and quit cold turkey, my pool dreams were gone at that point. I was to build my pool, and so my goal card on that says, what would it look like to have my dream pool and all of the landscaping in my backyard? So that's my goal card. That's what my goal card says. And in August of this year, So what did I do in August? I put down on my goal card, where can I find a pool builder that can build my pool within 12 months? Okay, in about 2 weeks, we found a pool builder, and they are coming out. They already came out. They came out within a week, within like 3 or 4 days of us calling them. Okay, and their ETA for the pool is August of 2020. And don't tell me that don't tell me those don't work. That was very specific. I don't even remember what the question was. But so
Uh-oh, you're frozen. There she
so
is.
anyway, those are some of the things I do. I do the cards, and I talk to everybody. And I do my little cards. Those are the things that I do. And I also have my goals written on my glassboard in my office, and I have them written on my mirror in my vanity. So, so those are the things that I do that make it work for me. I have my money mission listed on my glassboard and on my vanity.
So you just, okay. Sorry, there's a echo. It drives me crazy. Okay, sorry. Okay, so, and I know, Laura, your connection kind of comes and goes, but I think we're getting the main stuff, so that's really good. So you're putting things out there, and you're doing it. I mean, you give yourself you are very specific, and you believe it. But okay, so believing it is one of the biggest things, right? Okay, so if you go, okay, so that, I guess, let's talk a little bit about your Facebook group. How did you do that? What did you do? And I'll stop talking. Tell us about your Facebook group.
Well, okay, so I have this group, and whenever, well, okay, so about I would say 1.5 to 2 years ago-ish, I think it was, let me think, 2020 totally messes me up. So let's see, I think it was 2019, February of 2019, when I decided this is what I wanted to do. And basically I wanted to create a forum where people like me could come together and share ideas without being afraid of somebody coming down on them because they did something wrong, or because they, instead of getting, criticism that, I wanted they could talk about whatever they want to talk about. The only rule is we have to be professional and courteous. We have to be positive and uplifting, not down, tell people how bad they are at their job, because that doesn't do anybody any good. I mean, we can tell people, okay, you probably should have done it this way, but if you need to go back and fix it, then go back and fix it. But there's so many forums out there that everybody is just they just want to tell people how bad they are, and I did not want that. I wanted to create something that was new and fun, and people were inspired, and we all succeed together is kind of the idea for it. And so I just did it, and now we have almost 1,000 members in the state of Indiana.
So, you know what? I think when you gave the date, I think when you gave the date, Laura, I was looking on the Facebook group because I actually joined the group. I don't know, Stacy, Angie, are you guys members? Anybody members of her group?
I think Stacy is.
Okay, because I think it said 2020, I thought. Did it? Or did she start it? I think.
I just joined probably a few months ago, so I don't know exactly when it
Maybe
started.
it was 2020. I don't. 2020, the whole date, that whole year messes me up. And it's probably right because 2019 would have been when I joined TTR, and it was definitely after TTR. So I think it was February 2020. I think you're right.
Well, I think I looked at it, Laura, because I was very impressed that you did that in a little over a year. You've had I'm sorry, I'm getting the echo again. Sorry, Laura. Because in a little over a year, she has created this Facebook group that's almost, I think it was over 900. I don't know how close you are to 1,000. And I asked her if I could join the group just to learn more about, because we would like to, Laura and I've talked a lot about trying, what is the name of the group, Laura? And it's not just for those, what is the group name, Laura? Tell us, I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me look because it's so long. It has all the keywords in it, so I have to look it up. Hang on a second. It's Indiana Notary Public Loan Signing Agents. Hang on, I can't find it here.
It's Indiana Notary Public and Loan Signing Agent Success.
Meetup Network.
The Meetup Network, yes.
So it's got all the keywords in it. Yeah.
So, but
That's right.
the members are not all part of that industry, right? The people in that group, are they all part of the real estate
No, they are.
mortgage loan?
Yeah, for the most part, they are, yes.
Okay,
I think
gotcha.
Jennifer's only because she wants to be.
you wanted to see it, yeah.
So I guess that is, but I guess what I'm saying, one of the cool things about that was that she created this group that in a little over a year, she's grown to this big thing. Now, if you go in there and you look at what Laura's in there all the time, she's busy, we're all busy, but she is in there answering questions. I mean, if you ever want to, when I've looked in there, Laura, I've been pretty impressed. You're always answering questions people have, or somebody's saying, what do I do with this situation? And Laura's right in there answering the question. So, I mean, maybe it's just what I'm seeing, but I do want to open it up. Anybody's got questions for Laura? I mean, really, I told her when we called it, no one gets paid till Laura shows up, was kind of cute and everything. But then she said every single day of the last 3.5 years, she's had to show up for her business. And I know you guys are all independent business, soul, whatever. You have to do the same thing. So I would just, ask away. I mean, we've got a few minutes. I think she's.
I just want to do a testimony for Laura. She is the ultimate person that she's one of two women that has mindset down to a T. Like, she is successful because she has the right mindset. And if there's a problem, she is looking to solve it, not get stuck in, oh my gosh, this is horrible. How am I ever going to do this? So that's why, that's why I want to learn from her. That's what I wanted to learn from her the most. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Do you have questions? Anybody else? Throw them at her. I think she's pretty modest, actually.
You know what? The mindset part was probably the hardest part of my job. But I think my my job, my career in aviation probably helped me because in aviation you have to figure it out. I mean, there's no quick answer to it. If there's a problem, you have to work through it. And I think that was probably my greatest asset. But it was a very hard thing for me when I first started out in my career, because, you know, especially as women, you know, you have a lot of those negative, I don't know, you know, people, you know, that negative vibe people have, especially women. Women are mean. So, you know, I never had a large, close knit friends growing up because they were so mean. So, you know, so that really was a hard thing for me to work through. So when I was working through that with, you know, people in aviation, I think that was a huge learning curve for me. And I think that's what ultimately helps me in this career, that yeah, I'm just here to solve problems and you know, find a solution. I wouldn't say solve problems, but find a solution to, you know, anything that's thrown at me, just because it's a challenge, it's fun, you know, all that good stuff. And yeah, like she said, you know, it's not, I don't know. Okay, let's go on to the next thing. Yeah. Oh, but yeah. Oh, to expand on that. Yeah. So once I started kind of learning more about mindset, I kind of expanded on the problem solving and understanding that how the subconscious works, and letting my mind help me overcome, because, you know, why not use, I mean, it's like a part of our body that we don't even think about. We don't think about our subconscious, but it serves a purpose, and it serves a purpose to help us, help drive us, if we realize that's what it's for, or that's a portion of what it's for, and let it work for us. So I think just letting our minds help us in a positive way, and not focusing on the negative, because they say what you focus on, the subconscious magnifies. So what do we want it to magnify? What do I want it to magnify? I want it to magnify the positive. I want it to magnify how I can help people, and how I can be successful for my family. And if I'm successful, I can help other people become successful, and just create this huge, successful, fun world where we all get to go spend money and go on vacations all the time. So
That's my goal too.
We'll all go to Mexico, and I don't know where's a good place to go. But you know, Laura did say, I would just, I mean, everything she said doesn't surprise me at all. I didn't know everything that she does, but I'll tell you, she walks into a meeting, or she meets somebody new at one of the meetings on a call, and she's trying to figure out who to connect them to. And it doesn't matter. We had a guy that visited Biz Builders a couple of weeks ago. Well, it's been a month or two ago now, but he was coming from a very unique industry. And here's Laura with all of her aviation connections. And I think she could probably have really helped him. I don't know if she ever did talk to him again, but she had some connections that might have been good help for him. And here, I'm thinking there's nobody in our network that has any connections for this guy, but he's here. We'll handle it. But I mean, she does that for everybody that she's trying to help. And she's also,
And you know what? I know 5 key people in purchasing in a bunch of companies, in different companies, that I could have connected him to. So he should have joined our group. It could have been really good and productive for him.
well, that truly was kind of what I was thinking.
Plus I could have called in some favors. I still have some favors from some of those people.
So what's the moral of the story? Make friends with Laura.
Yeah.
I mean, plain old simple. If you don't know Laura, get to know Laura.
He doesn't know a stranger. That's the other thing is I admit it, I'm somewhat introverted. And so I always have extroverted people in my life to kind of push me past my comfort zone. And and Laura's one of them.
Yes.
And I'm kind of an introvert. I'm really kind of an introvert.
No, she isn't.
I just pretend.
Yeah,
I just pretend I'm not.
Well, there you go.
Is that the key? Just pretend like you're not.
Yep. Sometimes I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I read my cards, and then I go to sleep, and I wake up and call 10 people.
Yeah.
See, it's those cards.
Yep.
She, well, I would just say she has been very, very busy trying to connect more of her group with our network. And that has, I mean, I know Laura's a special breed because she's referred people, and unfortunately, most of them have not done anything. We do have one member, I think that is a connection, but she's actually a travel agent in your group, Stacy. But I mean, if I looked back and we tried to trace them back, we could say Laura probably invited a number of the people that have actually ended up joining, and maybe they weren't from her group necessarily, but she's always working on that. So I guess I would just say, does anybody have any questions? I mean, I keep throwing it out there because we've got Laura for a few more minutes. Any thoughts, anything? I know I did kind of put, do you have any, Laura, I guess, do you have any other killer business tips that you would leave us with, or any final thoughts that, I mean, you've shared a lot of things that, we read about, we know they're out there, but until we hear somebody that's actually being succeeding doing it, sometimes it's like, yeah, right, that's just in the books. But tell us, and we'll close with whatever you want to share here. Okay.
Well, the last thing the last thing I want to share is just become friends with your customers and your clients, and become friends with them and get to know them, because that's what it's about. It's about sharing experiences, being a part of each other's lives, and that's just what it's all about. It's about creating a better world and being a part of each other's lives. So become friends with your clients, have fun, and don't take it so seriously. I'm always having fun, but when it comes down to getting business done, I'm business all the way. But there's no reason why every now and then you can't cut up with your customers and have fun and build that relationship. We want to build those relationships because that's what it's all about. It's not about making the money, although in the end you will make the money, but it's about building that relationship so that the relationship is an equally beneficial thing. It's not something that's a one-way thing where I'm making all the money. No, that's not what it's all about. It's so that we all can be successful. And also, there was something else I wanted to say. Build a relationship. Shoot, what was it? I'll probably think of it once we get off the call. But
that typically happens.
yeah.
Well, I just want relationships, friends. The memory I have is when Laura first joined us. I remember her arriving, and I know she probably still does it. She wears these very, very tall, high-heeled shoes. I don't know if she still does it, but that was kind of the funny thing when she'd arrive at a meeting. She'd be walking in, and the people would be looking to see what shoes she was wearing. I don't mean to point it out, Laura, but you're kind of short, right?
I am short. I am short.
But so are the heels because you want to be taller, or do they just something fun that you like your shoes? I think you shared that you like shoes.
I love shoes. And they just happen to make me taller. I can't help that. Yeah, and funny story about my height. Until about a year ago, I thought I was 4'11". Well, since then, I've been to a couple doctor's appointments, and they were different doctor's appointments. I had my height, measured, and they both measured me at 5 foot. So all my adult life, I'm thinking I'm 4'11". I've either grown, or I think I've grown, actually. I don't know how, but I don't know. Maybe it's a high heel.
No, it could be your positive thinking, what you focus on. Yeah, it is mindset. Exactly. What'd you say, Stacy?
Hold on. Your posture, improved because you were
So
confident.
You didn't even know you were going to get all this good information from Laura today, but there you go. It's posture, it's mindset, it's all that good stuff.
You can get taller if you just have a better mindset.
There you go.
That's it.
Well, thank you.
Maybe that should have been what we led with.
If you don't know Laura, you need to know Laura. I am going to send this out to all of the people that were signed up, and it will be on our website. I wouldn't be surprised if we post it out on social media as well. So, yeah. Oh, it's fine. Except for my echoing voice, but
it doesn't sound echoey on my end.
No. Well, we thank you very much, Laura. You were awesome. And thank you, everybody, for attending. Please make sure you reach out to Laura. And we thank you. We'll see you again. Take care. Thanks, Laura. Bye, Nancy. Bye, guys.